Hi, I'm Kimberly Dillon, and welcome to North Georgia. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about sustainability and what it means for me. Sustainability, I think, is simply the concept of maximizing our resources so that we can have resources tomorrow. I recently have found really big traction in this movement when I last attended a Pioneer conference. Pioneers is a group that really focuses on sustainability and the environment, and they have a conference that's held each year in San Francisco. Atlanta recently has been a satellite office for the last 2 years, and I was a volunteer putting together programming, basic conference volunteering, and a lot of other duties. When I was there, I was doing my volunteer work, but I ran into a workshop which was called about Tetracycle, and it talked about sustainable development and what it means in a business setting. This really had an impact on me because I have always thought about sustainability in my own home. So I've always recycled, I've always done basic things that I could do to help the environment. However, this was the first time where I really thought about it in terms of a community, and I thought about how could I do this in my work, in terms of my career and how I interact with people in a work setting. I want to tell you that I love business. I love the idea of commerce and trade, and all of those types of things get me excited, which sometimes is not necessarily seen in the green movement. So when I went to this workshop, it was really the first time when I was able to be with people who are business-minded but also care about the environment and care about the people. Before I tell you more about the conference, I do want to mention that sustainability is not just about the earth. I think that sustainability is really about the connections that people have between the earth, the connections that people have between each other, the connections that we have with our ecology, with fish and animals, and with children and different cultures, with our governments and with our workplace. And so that's why this workshop really had a profound meaning for me. One of the actual speakers was a man who founded Tetracycle. Tetracycle is actually based here in Atlanta, Georgia, and it's a company that uses worm waste and turns it into an organic fertilizer. Now, this is not something that's necessarily new. Gardeners have been using compost for ages and ages and ages. However, this is one of the first times I was exposed to a company that used a lot of innovative, sustainable techniques and methodologies in their business practice. Tetracycle starts with worms and uses the waste from worms to produce an organic fertilizer. Then they use regular bottles like this. They use Pepsi bottles, 2-liter bottles, and a variety of other soda bottles to house their organic fertilizer. They actually make this into a fundraising activity, and they get involved with local churches, schools, and other community organizations by getting them to raise boxes of these little plastic bottles. These kids earn money for their community, and Tetracycle gets a recycled good in which they place a new label and then they place their fertilizer. What's profound about this company is that in actual consumer reports, their product is outperforming a lot of chemical fertilizers and pesticides. Even so much that Home Depot is putting them on their shelves. They are receiving a 3-row end cap, which is pretty huge if you think about the size of Home Depot. What actually even impressed me even more is that Tetracycle, the company, talked about how they believe in fair trade, in which all their workers are paid a domestic fair trade wage. Now, what I also think is even more profound about this, if we use Tetracycle as our little case study, we can walk through all the different ways that this one company is impacting the earth and other individuals. By paying their workers a fair trade, they're ensuring that people of all different classes are able to live a basic American lifestyle. These workers are able to clothe, feed, and educate their children and enjoy the basic tenets that we enjoy here in this country. By producing a good that's organic, people are able to fertilize the land and the soil without affecting our water source. That means that people downstream, 50 and 100 miles away from us, are able to drink water safely. It impacts our health. We can drink water without worrying about the types of chemicals that we don't know what the effects are. It also affects the environment. By using recycled goods, we are reducing the waste that we produce. And it would even affect other companies. Miracle-Gro, which is one of the competitors that we're all familiar with, has actually entered the marketplace with their own product. The CEO of Tetracycle was asked if he thought that was a problem. He said no. One of the company's mission is to increase the awareness of other companies and consumers to really make this a broad category. So it's another way that we are increasing awareness of other companies. It affects the government. The government is the #1 user of goods and the #1 employer in this country. Can you imagine if the government used Tetracycle products versus other products? It would affect the land and the soil all across this country. And finally, it affects the spirit of this earth. Everything is connected, and I think that's what the sustainability movement is all about. By doing tiny changes, by buying organic, by recycling, by really looking out for goods that protect this earth, by thinking about social justice issues and how the things that we do today, all of our actions, how they impact our children and our children's children has an impact on this world. So in a nutshell, that's what sustainability means for me. I'm Kimberly Dillon, and I'm signing off from here in Atlanta, Georgia.